Hello everybody. I'm going to tell you the stories of the comedies of Shakespeare. Shakespeare has written a lot of comedies about friendship, love, marriage, etc. Early in his career, there is a very interesting comedy called Love's Labour's Lost. That means all the labor or hard work of love is lost. Why is it lost? Because four young men decide they will not get married now. They are going to go for education. They have to travel to Europe and get education. And immediately after they decide and start traveling, they fall in love. The King of Navarre and his four companions, they go and meet the Princess of France and her companions. They fall in love. At first, the women are not returning their love. But very soon, at the end of the play, after a lot of comic situations, the women return the love, but they say, "Arey, you are going to have education, right? Go, finish your grand tour and then come back. Then we will think of marriage. Abhi nahi karenge marriage. Right now, no marriage, nothing. Go, go, go. Finish your education." So all the hard work of love is lost. That is Love's Labour's Lost. At the same time, he wrote another play called Two Gentlemen of Verona. In this play, there are two gentlemen, Proteus and Valentine. Both of them are friends in Verona. At that time, Proteus has a girlfriend, Julia. Valentine goes to a place called Milan. He falls in love with Sylvia. And after that, Valentine goes away for education, for traveling. At that time, Proteus, who is the lover of Julia, goes to Milan, falls in love with Sylvia. Don't think that Sylvia cheated Valentine. No. Sylvia is very good girl, but Proteus is now after Valentine's girlfriend. Do you think Proteus's girlfriend Julia will keep quiet? No. Julia puts on men's clothes in disguise. She goes and gets back her lover. At the end, when Valentine returns, Proteus is repenting. Proteus is saying sorry. So finally, Proteus gets Julia, Valentine gets Sylvia. That is Two Gentlemen of Verona. Because it is a comedy, there is no revenge. Suppose it was a tragedy, Valentine would have come back and taken revenge. Hang, hang, hang. There is one hilarious early comedy. It's very funny. There are two sets of twins in this play called Comedy of Errors. Two sets of twins. Antipholus of Ephesus, Antipholus of Syracuse. Dromio of Ephesus, Dromio of Syracuse. Now there are two places, Syracuse and Ephesus. They are enemies. So Antipholus of Syracuse, his father Aegeon, goes to Ephesus. In Ephesus, he gets arrested. At that time, he does not know that his other son Antipholus is there in Ephesus. He does not know Aegeon. So Antipholus of Syracuse comes to Ephesus in search of his father. So both Antipholuses are now in Ephesus. And there is utter confusion because of mistaken identity. Antipholus of Syracuse is mistaken for Antipholus of Ephesus. And the Antipholuses have servants called Dromio. Both of them twins. Utter confusion, hai na? At the end, what happens is, everything sudhar gaya. Everything is solved. And the Aegeon and his wife, they get back both their sons. Did you understand? That is Comedy of Errors. Full of superficial comedy. Now, the later comedies are more intellectual comedies. In all comedies, women are very good, okay? First, I will tell you the story of the very famous play, A Midsummer Night's Dream. See, in all comedies, not only one story, more than one story will be there. This is called parallel plots. Two stories. In Midsummer Night's Dream, one parallel plot, 2 parallel plot, 3 parallel plot, 4 parallel plot. There are 4 parallel plots. There is a girl called Hermia. Hermia is in love with Lysander. Hermia, Lysander love each other. But Hermia's father does not want Hermia to love Lysander. Hermia's father wants Hermia to marry Demetrius. So Hermia and Lysander run away to the forest. Demetrius follows. But Demetrius has a girlfriend who loves him, but he doesn't love her. Her name is Helena. So Hermia and Lysander are in the forest. Demetrius is following. And Helena is after him. And then what happens? In the forest, there is a couple. The couple is Oberon, the king of fairies, and his wife, Titania. They are quarreling. Like husband and wife quarrel always. They are also quarreling. And Oberon wants to teach Titania a lesson, because Titania will not give her husband her page or assistant Indian boy. One changeling boy is there. Indian boy. Changeling matlab not very intelligent. And Oberon wants that boy. Titania won't give him. So quarreling. Oberon has an assistant, a supernatural assistant called Puck. This Puck is going to teach Titania a lesson. At that time in the forest, other things are happening. See, this is happening in Athens. In Athens, Duke Theseus is going to marry Hippolyta, the Amazonian queen. And what happens? Everybody is going to celebrate this marriage of Theseus and Hippolyta. And 4 artisans matlab craftsmen, they work with their own hands. These 4 artisans, they are rehearsing a play in the forest. They are rehearsing a tragedy called Pyramus and Thisbe in the forest. And 4 parallel plots therefore are marriage of Theseus and Hippolyta. The 4 artisans rehearsing a play, Pyramus and Thisbe. Then Titania and Oberon fighting. And finally Lysander, Hermia, Demetrius, Helena. That love story. In the forest, utter confusion, because Puck pours a love juice into the eyes of the people. He pours a love juice, and sab ulta pulta ho gaya. It all became confusing, because wrong people fell in love with wrong people. Did you understand? But again, Puck once again pours the love juice, and everything theek ho gaya. Everything became okay once again. At the end, finally, these artisans, the craftsmen, are rehearsing their play Pyramus and Thisbe. But they rehearsed this tragedy in such a hilarious manner, such a stupid manner, that everybody was laughing. The tragedy became a comedy. And at the end of the play, Puck is coming and telling us, listen everybody, nothing really happened here. This was all Midsummer Night. The next play I want to tell you about is Much Ado About Nothing. In Messina, there is a noble man called Leonato. Very powerful man. Leonato has a daughter, Hero, and a niece, Beatrice. To Leonato's house, a group of noblemen are coming to visit. Don Pedro, his stepbrother Don John, their friend Claudio, another friend Benedict. Benedict and Beatrice start fighting, because Beatrice is man hater, Benedict is woman hater. Claudio loves Hero, Leonato's daughter. But on the wedding altar, when he is going to marry her, he says, I don't want her, because he misunderstood that Hero is a bad girl. It was Don John who made him misunderstand. Don John is the villain. And Hero feigns, she looks like she is dead. Everybody thinks she died, but she didn't really die. At the end, after a lot of fighting between Benedict and Beatrice, they fall in love. And also, Claudio comes to realize that it was only a misunderstanding. He understands that Hero is actually very good. So at the end, all the problems are resolved. That is the story of Much Ado About Nothing. Next, I will tell you the story of another comedy, As You Like It. As You Like It is a very musical comedy. There is lots of music there in that play. In a town, there is a duke. He was usurped by his own brother. That means his brother stole his power. And this senior duke is exiled to the forest of Arden. The senior duke's daughter Rosalind is living in the main city itself. Now she has grown up. She is greatly friends with her cousin Celia. Rosalind and Celia are friends. Who is Celia? Celia is the daughter of the duke who usurped the country's power. Her uncle, Rosalind's uncle. And one day, this uncle is very angry with Rosalind because Rosalind went to watch a wrestling match between Orlando and a big, strong wrestler. And the young man Orlando won. And Rosalind was very happy. Rosalind loves Orlando. The Duke says, "Go out of my country. I don't want to see you here again." And Rosalind and Celia go in disguise to the forest of Arden, where her father is also there somewhere. This Orlando, who fought and won over the wrestler, he also comes to the forest of Arden because he's escaping from his own brother who wanted to kill him. In the forest of Arden, Orlando is remembering Rosalind. And Rosalind, disguised as a man, is cheating him. Rosalind says, "You can imagine that I am your Rosalind and you can confess your love to me." And she plays a trick on Orlando. Meanwhile, Orlando's brother and Duke Senior's brother, both of them come to the forest of Arden. Both of them have a change of heart. At the end, there are so many marriages. Orlando marries Rosalind. Celia marries Orlando's brother Oliver. And there are two other marriages. Touchstone marries Audrey. Silvius marries Phoebe. So many marriages. That is As You Like It. Then there is Merchant of Venice. Everybody knows Merchant of Venice. But in exams, just because you know the story, don't think you will be able to answer all the questions. When you prepare for an exam, you should read the play, study it thoroughly. If you are not preparing for an exam, it's okay. There are two friends, Antonio and Bassanio. Bassanio wants to go to Belmont to marry Portia. Antonio is ready to give him money, but his ships are all at sea. He has sent his ships away for trade to many countries. They have not returned. So Antonio goes to the moneylender Shylock. He's a Jew. And Antonio borrows money from Shylock. Shylock reluctantly gives money. "Okay, I will give you money. But one thing is there, if you don't immediately return the money, you will have to give me 1 pound of your flesh." Antonio says, "Theek hai, no problem." And then you know what happens? Antonio's ships are lost at sea. Bassanio meanwhile had gone to Belmont. And there were many suitors for the beautiful Portia. There was the Prince of Morocco, the Prince of Aragon. And there is a casket. There are 3 caskets, gold, silver and lead. And on the lead casket it was written, "Those who choose me will have to forego everything. They will have to sacrifice everything, etc." And Bassanio chose the ordinary lead casket, and inside that there was Portia's picture, so he married Portia. But soon after that they heard that Antonio is in trouble. Shylock is going to cut off a pound of his flesh. Bassanio went running to save his friend. At that time, Shylock hates the Christians. His own daughter Jessica has run away with a Christian. Christians have caused him a lot of trouble. And he is ready to kill Antonio. Then Portia comes disguised as the lawyer Balthasar. Portia's servant Nerissa is disguised as another man, Stefano. And these young men, they are women in disguise, they come and save Antonio. They tell Shylock, if you take a pound of flesh, it's okay, but you should not spill a drop of blood. How is that possible? So, Shylock loses and he has to really give up all his property. He is really punished. This is The Merchant of Venice. There are many other comedies, mature comedies, such as Taming of the Shrew, where Catherine, a shrew, is being taught a lesson by Petruchio. Another play is The Merry Wives of Windsor, where Falstaff, the character, he is a big, funny man, foolish man. He is taught a lesson by some wives. He was trying to flirt with them. He taught them a lesson. So these are the major romantic comedies. Now the tragic comedies and romances are there. That will be another video. Did you like the stories? If you like them, read about them. Charles Lamb has written Tales from Shakespeare, easy to read. Otherwise, you can read the plays themselves. Okay, bye-bye. I'll be back with more stories. Until then,